Hello, a very warm good morning to all of you, and I'd say welcome first of all for this session, live session, this year's last live session for patent agent exam, and this will be for Viva voce preparation. And I must take this opportunity first to congratulate all of you who have been able to qualify for the Viva voce and now you are preparing for the next set of I would say not the exam but the viva basically. And we, as you know, we got the result on 24th of June, and we have got the viva which is scheduled in the next month, for 3 days actually. And you would get the details, the exact time and the location via email from the patent office officially. I'm here to give you some insights about how to prepare for Viva Boost in next 15 days time. And also I'm here to give you some kind of strategic inputs, I would say, for those who have been appearing for second or third time. I think they have already gone through that process of Viva. But then I could actually see that almost 90% of those who registered for this webinar are the first timers that are those are appearing for the I would say the patent agent examination. So I'll be giving you a brief idea about how does that Viva voice happen, what kind of questions are asked, and also how should you prepare in the next 1 or 2 weeks, that time that we have actually. Okay, just a request to everyone, you can uh, put the questions in the chat box. I'll be taking those appropriate questions actually at the right time, wherever the questions are, I would say, uh, suitable. I can see some of you putting your comments, so my request is just putting the questions there. Okay, so let me start with the session actually. For those of you who are uh, I would say, joining for this session on Family 30 YouTube channel for the first time. My name is Vijay Shivpuje, and I'm a patent agent. I'm currently practicing actually. I've been practicing since last 4 or 5 years. I worked in pharma industry for almost more than a decade. And I'm beyond all this. I would say I'm a trainer. I conducted patent agent exam training sessions actually for this 2022 session, and I'm happy to tell you that of course we haven't got the results for everyone yet, but I would say we have got 53 students till this moment who have qualified for the Viva voice for the patent agent exam. And many of them are, I would say most of them actually are the first timers actually. And I'm then this is the first time, first patent agent exam, I would say, for which I was actually training. And most of the students prepared for 3-4 months time. And so it was something, we went as a journey, I would say, in last 4 months. There are a lot of videos also on the same YouTube channel wherein I was live and was discussing about the preparation, the strategy for paper one, paper two, the timelines and all. And to start with, again, I would say the basics, the I would say the exam pattern. This is exactly the same slide which we started in the month of December. In my first YouTube live, therein I had mentioned about what should be the strategy actually for cracking the patent agent examination. The paper one and paper two, you need 50 plus. Each one of you have actually got it. Okay. And 5 is for 50 marks. Now the aggregate should be 60%. There is no passing limit for the Viva actually. So it is not necessary that you should get 25 marks in the Viva as such. This was a limitation long back, but now it's not the limitation. So whatever you score, if your aggregate is 60% or above, and say when we say 60%, it would be I would say the 150 marks out of 250 that you actually require. And that was one of the reasons the Google form that I mentioned had was like, that one particular question: how much marks have you got in the first paper? Almost all of you know, like, in which range you are in the first paper, because we know, like, the for the multiple choice question, the answer key is already put on the Indian Patent Office website, and most of you have actually got it, got a fair idea, like, and of course, in the paper two, for sure, you have cracked this exam, you are eligible for Viva voce. That means you are 50 above. Roughly, you can add what you get in paper one. Let's say you are getting 17 paper one. In paper two, you have got 50 minimum. So your countdown should start at 120 actually. I would say means aapka 120 marks are confirmed. Beyond that, now you have to prepare for the another 30 marks. That's how it should work like. Of course, everyone won't get just 50. Some of you would have got really good marks as well. This session is divided into three parts. First is what are the trends in terms of the Viva voce, like, how is your paper one impacting the Viva voce preparation? Paper one marks rather. Second part, what kind of marks are given in Viva voce, and what should be the in the third part, what should be the strategy for Viva voce? What should you prepare? How should you prepare actually? Because writing is like, different, I would say, in paper one or paper two. And I actually got a lot of calls in last 2 days, and few of the students mentioned that, sir, I'm good at writing. I may be technically correct, but when it comes to speaking, the communication skills, honestly, it is really very difficult for me as such. What needs to be done in those cases as well? Remember that one of the reasons probably why we have Viva voce is also that we have these hearings during the patent prosecution actually. Therein you have to deal with the controllers at that point of time. So Viva voce is essential as far as the exam is concerned, the patent agent exam is concerned. Beyond that, it is also very, I would say, significant if you are practicing actually. And if you look at like, the results for 2018, the good news is that I would say for each one of you is that more than 90% of you who have qualified or who are eligible for Viva are going to crack the exam. Generally, these are the trends. 90% of the students are going to crack the exam. Okay, so I would say percentage wise, this is a good number. I would say very few, because we have got almost 130, like, 1300 plus students who have been eligible for Viva. So we can roughly presume that there would be hardly 130 students who may not be in a position to qualify the patent agent exam. For what reasons, that also we'll try to discuss actually. But then there is also a bad news, I would say. I've got some statistics to start with, and this would actually show that, of course, there can be first time in every exam, I would say. There are no specific guidelines, or I would say these are just trends that we are discussing here. And that's the reason I had asked again this question: how many marks you have got in paper one? I have categorized them into 4 categories. If you are 81 above, for sure, I mean, in 2016 there was not a single student. Paper one may 81 marks and above, you are for sure going to crack the exam. There is a logical reason for that. 81 plus 50 becomes in paper two, we are 130. and average score, in terms of the Viva was maybe anywhere between 25 to 35 actually. And that way, automatically you would qualify actually. Now, as you go down, and I'm going to discuss strategy wise what needs to be done for each of these students actually. Okay. Uh, in 2016, I didn't get the statistics for 2018 actually, but then 2016 statistics we determined at our end actually. So there were in 70 to 80, there were 150 students in this particular range who got in paper one, they got 70 to 80 marks. 90% of them qualified, but then there were few who didn't qualify as well. Now, for these 70 to 80 range students, it is important not to make, I would say, any blunders in the exam. And I would say that's how I would actually put. What are those blunders? I'll put it in the, or I'll discuss it in this session as well. Okay. So you are comparatively, so 81 above, I think you are already through, but don't take it lightly. Appear for the patent agent exam because, although it's not mandatory, I would say, because some of the students from my class have already got, I would say, 90, 88, 86 marks as such in the first paper. So for sure, they have also done good in the second paper, and many of them have already qualified for the exam. But for these students, you have to appear for the exam, prepare, just appear, and you are through. 70 to 80, if you don't do any blunders, for sure, you are in comparatively, I wouldn't say in a comparatively in a safer zone, I would call that you have more probability to get qualified. Now, the concern, I would say, those who are in the 60 to 69 zone. And if you look at the statistics, actually, 50% of them are almost not qualifying. I'm calling why I'm saying it 50%, although it's say 61% qualified and 39. There is a reason that I'll discuss in detail later. And finally, those who have qualified for Viva and they are into this 50 to 59 zone, you are in, I'll call this as a red zone or a danger zone already. Reason being, there is a very least, I would say, very few students have qualified who were in the 50 to 59 zone actually. What need to be done for these students? We won't see why the students failed. We would see the statistics, why the students passed actually. How could they pass actually? Okay, so for 50 to 59, we'll see how the students passed, although they had this much less score. For 60 to 69, effective strategy, what should be that strategy actually, that we'll discuss. 70 to 80, my advice is just not to make any blunders. What are those blunders in the Viva voce at patent agent exam? That also we'll see in detail. And 81 above, I would say just appear for the exam and almost you are already through, but then don't take the Viva voce lightly. Because I have a wonderful case study, a student with 132 marks, in paper one and paper two, who had actually got 80 marks in paper one, still couldn't qualify the exam. Yes, and that should be your reference standard, I would call it as. 80 marks मिलने के बाद भी कोई fail हुआ है. Yes, this has happened. I have got the live case study here. So don't take anything lightly. See, you are on track. Every one of you are on track. You have already done most of the parts. Just need to keep the momentum for next 15 days. That's it. And it won't be something that difficult if you have prepared really well actually. Let us try to understand how the statistics is actually working now. In case of 50 to 59, I have got these students who have qualified actually. So there are 11 students who have qualified from 50 to 59, I would say. Some of the observations are if you are really below 55, no one qualified in 2016. If your score was below 55, no one qualified in 2016. But then remember, in this set, like, if you have got good marks in paper 2, because you know how like, you have performed in paper 2 as well, right? Therein you can have a bit of comfort, because someone who got 59 marks in paper 1 still got 170 marks at the end. And these A star, actually these are the names from the students in 2016. Now also, so if you have got more marks in paper 2, and I have one of my ex colleagues, or I would say he's my ex subordinate who worked with me, he has got just 58 marks in paper 2. But then when I spoke to him, he mentioned that, sir, मेरा paper 2 बहुत अच्छा गया है. उसका reason ये है कि like, he went in a reverse way while solving the answer sheet for paper 2. Reverse way माने उसने 30 marks का पहले solve किया, फिर 20 का, फिर 10 का, फिर 5 का. Now what has happened in this sequence actually is, जिसने 5, 10, 20, 30 के sequence में गया, उसका last question थोड़ा सा रह गया because of time limit actually. But for this guy, उसका ना half of the question which was for 5 marks is remained. तो अगर उसमें डिडक्ट होना भी है तो very less marks would be deducted. And if you go through the time management video of mine, this I had mentioned before the exam actually, like, if possible, go for the drafting if it is from your domain. And he was lucky that uska us domain. So if your paper 2 was better than paper 1, that's what you believe, and you would score good, yes, you have a probability to crack as well. But remember, guys, for these, the third column gives you the marks for Viva, and all of those who scored really well in Viva have qualified. That means look at the numbers actually. Someone who has, so I'll go to the fourth row, 57, 55, and 45. Now almost same marks as that of first or second paper, I would say. 45 marks, good marks. I would say great marks rather, because that's the highest limit actually. So still there is an opportunity, but what is important is that you need to prepare thoroughly again, as well as, I would say, like, I would say a bit of luck factor plays here. Why I'm saying so, that also I'll let you know later. Actually, there is a bit of luck factor that also plays in your Viva voce at the patent agent exam actually. Now, so my target for all of you who are in this zone is 40 marks actually, ideally 40 marks. But if you are 35 above, then you have 50% chance of qualifying. And if you are 56 above in paper 1, you have 25% chance of qualifying. See, I'll tell you what, it may happen that someone with 56 marks has qualified in paper 1, but someone with 80 marks in paper 1 has not qualified the exam actually. Like, they look at the difference actually, it's huge. So it is very essential that like, you prepare it thoroughly. Now take it as an opportunity. Let me tell you, class, those who are in this zone, take this as an opportunity. It's not yet, you have not missed the boat. Actually, you are in that zone, you still have an opportunity. You can grab that opportunity and crack the exam still. It is pretty much possible, but then the percentage is really low, I would say. And as I said, get some blessings, like, for sure. And I would also say, like, a bit of luck factor plays a role. That's the reason I said, like, so that is for those who are in this zone, 50 to 59 zone actually. Like, paper 1 we are discussing, because we only know the marks in paper 1. Those who are in 60 to 69 zone, now I have bifurcated this into 60 to 65 and 65 to 69. Maximum number of students are in this zone actually. And let me tell you, yahan pe you have a 50-50 chance almost. Why 50-50 chance? Because like, this is as per the trends actually, because you are in a zone wherein like, you are somewhere between 120 to 125 in like, paper 1 plus paper 2. A single mark unfortunately can make you take you at 149. एक mark कम मिल गया ना, you are at 149, not cracking the exam actually. So for these students, again I would say, you need to prepare well. Your target should be anywhere between 30 to 39, because maximum students in this zone, in the Viva I'm telling you, 30 to 39. अबे कैसे मिलने हैं, कैसे करना है, that also we'll try to understand actually. Okay, but then if you are in 65 to 69 zone, still you have a better chance, I would say, compared to 60 to 65 zone. Okay, so see, again, if you have performed well in paper 2, you have a better chance. Of course, this is pretty easy as such. जिसको first paper में ज्यादा mark है, उससे ज्यादा opportunity है actually. But that's not the thumb rule basically. This is observation based on the statistics that we have for the scores of Viva voce in 2016 actually. Okay, so your target should be anywhere between 30 to 39. And is 30 to 39 difficult? No, it's not that difficult actually, because if someone with 50 score can get 45 marks, you have a better opportunity as such. So यहाँ पे what should be the strategy? I think for these students, I would say, the 15 days are kind of, I would say, a situation जहाँ पे just remain focused for next 15 days. Revise everything. Of course, the strategic part we will discuss in detail for sure. Okay, so this is for those who are into 60 to 69 marks in paper 1 actually. I have the trends, interesting trends in 70 to 80 zone. And these are the 17 students who failed, although they were into 70 to 80 zone. And I have this first case that I mentioned. 80 marks in paper 1, still you are not qualifying. Remember, you don't know how much marks you have got in paper 2. Although paper was very lengthy, just evaluate on your own. आपने कितना मार्क्स का सॉल्व नहीं कर पाए, और what were the number of questions in paper 2 which you didn't solve properly because of the time constraint actually. Average marks in paper 2 are comparatively lesser compared to paper 1 answer. This year paper 1 was easy, even paper 2 was easy, but most of the students faced some issues with respect to time as such. I mean, that's what my students gave me the feedback actually, so this is my reference. Anyone who has got up to 80 marks, 50 say 80 tak, don't take it lightly, I would say. 80 wala student agar fail ho sakta hai, and look at the margins actually. Look at the margins. Many students are on 149. Many students are on 149 actually. And how does it impact actually? Unfortunately, unlike university exams, we don't have a grace mark or anything like that here actually. It is very, very essential, I would say, for these students just to I would say, appear for the Viva. Don't do any blunders basically. What are those blunders? We'll be of course discussing it in detail in our class that is scheduled for next 2 weeks actually for the Viva voce preparations. Now, but यहाँ पे if you look at these students really perform very badly in the Viva. Why I'm saying so? Because many of them have got less than 25 marks. Only last 2 students have got, I would say, more than 25. Everyone else got less. So and I'll tell you, in Viva, if you do blunders, there is no excuse there actually. And what are those blunders? It may not be technical blunder, but it may be, I would say, more about I would say, the way you are, I would say, the way you are speaking or the way we are actually presenting ourselves, that may also matter actually. It's like an interview for a job. You should take it that way actually, that you're going for an interview for a job, and that's how I would say you would be in a position to crack it. So don't do blunders and you are through. Okay, the best part is don't do blunders, as I said, and then you are through actually for the you would crack the patent agent exams. I'm not going to discuss for 80 above, but then just one thing I would say, still don't take it lightly. 80 above wale students, agar sari kainat aapke piche lag gayi, so it would be very difficult as such, at times to get those required numbers. You may be at 149, and ye bahut chupta hai 1 mark jo hota hai na, because I have spoken to many students who appeared for the patent agent exam earlier, and for just 1 mark or 2 marks actually they couldn't crack it. ये 1-2 marks क्यों चुपते हैं उसका भी एक reason है. And so for these students 25 to 30 should be the target average जो score है. ये 1 और 2 marks क्यों चुपते हैं has a reason actually. So these are Viva voce marks in 2016. These are Viva voce marks 13 से लेके 46 तक. 46 above किसी को नहीं मिला है, 13 से नीचे नहीं मिला है. ओके, नाउ इंपॉर्टेंट, अगर आप ये देखते हो, लेट अस से 10 मिनट्स का वाइवा है, 8 to 10 मिनट्स का वाइवा है, या 5 मिनट्स का वाइवा है, and there are certain number of questions asked to every candidate. Let us see this student now, who has got 24 marks. So the third row, 75, 50, 24. The end result is 149, fail. Now, how is someone going to decide इसको 24 देना है, 25 देना है, 26 देना है? There are no set rules for that. And that's, I would say, something which is tricky for each one of those who are into I would say who are not doing well in the in the Viva voce actually, because there are no set rules ki let us say you perform out of 10, 8 questions you answered really well correctly. Now would that give you 40 marks, 8 questions, or would it give you 39 marks? Or let us say you performed halfway, 25, you should get 25 marks, right? That's what you would expect. Out of 10, 5 you answered really well. 25 marks you should get. Now instead of 25, you got just 24. How is that 24-25 ka difference? Who is going to evaluate that? That depends right there in the Viva voce, those who are there assessing the students actually. And this is something I would say which is really challenging even for those who are sitting there. It's not only for you actually. How to evaluate? There may not be honestly, I've been training the students for the first time actually, but then there may not be any specific I would say guidelines to differentiate between 27, 28, 29, 30. But okay, so that's the reason when I discuss those paper 1K marks, how is it going to make a difference actually? Because there are no set guidelines for these marks actually. But then generally, if you look, 25 to 40 is a broader range. 25 to 40 is a broader range wherein you can get marks actually. 25 से नीचे है तो probably you haven't really performed well in the Viva voce actually, and you are in I would say you are in that average zone between 25 to 40 marks. 40 above, you have excelled actually. There is no reason you shouldn't get qualified if you are above 40 actually, Now, when we say this, okay, one thing we have to understand, these things are not in our control. These things cannot be questioned as well or challenged as well. And this is one reason, honestly, this is one reason why we don't have a specific I would say qualifying criteria for the Viva. So it is not necessary to get 25 marks. Okay. So this is the base to understand how does Viva voce is impacted. So like, we have this in cricket, what we call as a like, preliminary round, then super six, and then finals actually. So you carry those preliminary rounds marks to the super six, and thereafter the semifinals are decided actually. Something similar, although you have qualified, you are carrying that weightage of marks in the paper one, paper two to the Viva, and accordingly you would be either qualifying or but in a few cases like, it may not be you may not be in a position to qualify. I got this question from Rushikesh: while conducting Viva, do they have paper one and paper two marks with them? I believe the answer to this is no. They may not have, of course. Honestly, I don't know the exact answer, but then the marks may not be available actually for those who are carrying out the like, the Viva course actually. So it's not something which I would say they would have. Okay. But then honestly I don't know the exact answer, but अगर हमें नहीं पता है तो उनको भी नहीं पता होगा actually, honestly. ठीक है. Now, the next thing that we are going to discuss. Okay, this is all about the numbers game, how the marks are given, how the paper one marks are going to impact. I would say the your actual exam qualification and all. Now, how should I actually prepare? So individually, I have spoken to many of you. I have given some harsh, unbiased comments as well, because for all those students who were part of the class, I know most of you personally. I know where do you lag actually, and like, how should you actually prepare as well. But beyond that, for everyone else who had joined in here, how should you actually prepare? Revise revise the entire syllabus once again. 15 days is sufficient time. Remember class, in Delhi, 2 days we had revised the entire syllabus actually. So 2 days are actually sufficient as such, I would say. Okay. Watch the videos once again, especially the part one. Like, those 1 to 20 classes, part one to first hour, paper one. Like, focus more on paper one now, I would say. Like, of course, few of the things of paper two would also be maybe asked, but those would be, I would say, very rare actually. Paper one se related jo bhi hai, that I think you should be in a position to watch again and again actually. Like, revise it once. That would be something like, my recommendation. Remember the charts, right? On the very last day, exam hall mein, I still remember one of my close friends calling me and like, uh, telling me that Vijay, I was at patent agent exam and there was a student who was with me and I could see your charts in his hand actually, like, so I could see and I felt really well. That's what he mentioned me, like, so those charts very important here because आपको ना यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा mug up करने की जरूरत है actually, like, that's the advice for the preparation for the students. Repeat those charts. Thoda sa, I would say, also try to focus on few of the topics that I'll discuss in the next slide as such. Keep it simple, as I said. Like, I was speaking to one of the students wherein she mentioned that, sir, paper बहुत easy था, paper one, but I got lesser marks because unnecessarily I tried to overcomplicate the thing. कभी कभी रास्ता सीधा होता है, we feel कि इतना सीधा नहीं है actually. Right, and that's how many a times we fumble in the exam. We face these issues even in our routine life as well, I would say. Right? So, but keep it very simple. It's not a rocket science, I would say. Why I'm saying so? With a lot of hard work, actually, you have reached to this level. 15 days more, and I would say you would be in actually position to crack the patent agent exam. And for those who are appearing for the first time, I have an advice actually. देखिए, it's difficult to prepare again for the next second or third time actually. That's what generally the students say. It's not that it's impossible, but then this is your golden opportunity. First timers jo hai na, and those who have actually many of those who were with the class, and those who were doing it for the first time, last 3 months ke preparation, 4 months ke preparation mein, you have come here. Just give more 15 days, keep it simple. It's not a rocket science. I was always an average student. I could qualify. Each one of you, can very easily qualify, because the way we have done it till date, it's something something which is I would say proper in a right direction, I would say, and you can very easily qualify. And there's need to be some precautions during the interview that also we need to actually do. Okay, now I've got some questions with respect to this during the interview on the chat box on my YouTube channel. Actually, as I mentioned, you can put your questions on the in the chat box, live chat. So I've got this question from Oshin Barbuza. How many panel members asked questions? Okay, so usually 2 to 3 members you can expect, but there can be one member as well. No, but then generally 2 to 3 members ka panel rehta hai, and I mean, of course, for me, as I said, I appeared for the patent agent exam in 2005. That was long back, but that point of time as well, it was a panel actually, 3 members ka, maybe but then that's how it actually should be. Okay. What is your suggested grooming dress-wise, Kaushik? Kaushik, I think a very significant thing, when I speak about those blunders, 78 to 80 wale zone mein, keep it professional, professional attire, simple. My way to look at the things is keep it very simple and professional. That's it actually. If you are average, you are in that average zone in the 25 to 40 marks, and you are going to qualify for sure. Okay, nothing extraordinary needs to be done. Okay, I think that answers your question, Kaushik. Oshin has another question. Do all qualifying candidates assemble at the patent office? I think that's how it works. We have got 5 centers, 1,300 plus students, 3 days. But I believe each one of you would be getting a specific time actually at which you have to be present there. So if you may not meet everyone there actually. Okay, so I'm not sure, but that's how it works actually. कि आपको एक time specific time limit मिलेगा, and आपको you can actually get the details via email actually. आपको ये मिल जाएगा. Okay. Deepika has got an interesting question. Mode of interview will be in English language, else we have a choice. And I think not only interesting, because this is all about communication, and many students asked me whether I should speak in English or Hindi, let's say. And this exactly same problem for many students. Sir, मैं हिंदी में बात करूं क्या? Right? Be it I would say broken. See, I'm coming from a very small town in Maharashtra. मेरा अभी भी जो tone है वो vernacular है, I would say not that fluent actually. That's not expected there, but English is preferred. But I'll tell you something. If you are seriously not confident about your language, but if you are technically correct, honestly, if you speak in Hindi, because if you don't have a choice, then use Hindi, but technically correct rahiye, right? That is more important. You never know. I had this interesting, I would say, of course it was not for patent exam. मैं किसी का interview ले रहा था. It was 5-6 years back. A student came in, and when I asked him the first question, he said, "Sir, मैं मराठी मध्ये बोलू का?" So that means, shall I speak in Marathi? I said, absolutely fine. And let me tell you, I had recruited that person. It all depends actually, because अगर वो बंदा technically correct है, just because of the language, I would say, or I would say the communication problem, I don't think you would be deprived of that opportunity. But yes, English is preferred. But if you are technically correct and if you're not confident, if you use Hindi, I think that shouldn't be a bigger issue, because many a times, even in hearings, we have been doing this actually, like speaking with the controllers in Hindi as well. Okay. Anshu Raval, if we are not students of your former course, how to access the videos? Anshu, I'll let you know at the end about this. Rakshit. Rakshit, good to see you here. First of all, I work in industry. If they ask me, why do I want to become patent agent, then should I say the real professional reason, or should I give diplomatic answer? Rakshit. Rakshit, I think ये एक बहुत common question है. There are two questions which are very common, I would say. Firstly, tell about yourself, and second question is, why do you want to be a patent agent? Actually, like now I would say give the honest answer. At times, that's how I would prefer. I would say as an individual, the honesty, but what should be the right answer? Like as you rightly say, it would be giving me an opportunity to I would say work or have my career in patents with the, or I would say I can work in present in front of in the Indian Patent Office actually, like that's how it should go, like rather than giving specifically I would say any other answer. But then when you are in industry specifically, your question should bother you more actually, because those who are independent, those who are in law firms, they of course can have this as an answer. But if you are within the industry as such, one more I would say good option for you, maybe this would give me I would say extra advantage during my growth actually. And I also have these plans to start my own, these kind of answers can actually help you. And coming back to the first question, tell me about yourself. Okay, that may be one of the questions generally. That's how the I would say the interview starts, or the Viva starts. I would prefer just few things: your technical background, your name, and your experience, if at all you are practicing actually, and your affiliation as such. So my experience, of course, my Viva was very long back, I would say almost 17 years back, but ये मुझे पूछा गया था, the first question, and these two questions were asked to me as well. For the first one, rather, when I mentioned, at times this works really well, I would say, because I remember I was working with Rambaxi at that point of time, and when I mentioned this, it had a positive, I would say, kind of impact actually. So you can mention actually about your background. When I say background, not your entire history, just your technical field basically. Means, for example, I'm an electronics engineer. My name is this. I'm an electronics engineer. I'm currently working with this organization, and I'm in the patent field since last these many years. That's how that should be as simple as that. This kind of answer, I would say. Okay. Hopefully that clears your doubt, Rakshit. Of course, if you still have anything, you can call me. We can get connected over call, Rakshit. Yeah. Simi, sir, which document should we carry for Viva voce? Simi, I think I'm not the right person to answer this. आपको mail पे या Indian Patent Office के website पे सारी details मिल जाएंगे. So I'm here to give you more about the preparations. Okay, Simi. So just check it. If you don't get that, just call me, Simi, and or you can put it in our WhatsApp group, जहाँ पे, because everyone would be getting the same instructions, right? Now. We have got a question from Rashmita. What are the most important topics one should focus? Whether they ask questions from paper 2. Exactly, Rashmita. I have the next slides wherein I'll be discussing this actually. Anshu, charts, yes, you can. I'll mention about the charts and videos for sure at the end. Actually, Ocean, how long is the interview? Okay, I would say anywhere between 8 to 10 minutes. That should be the maximum because the number of students that we have are really good number actually. That also depends on the center. So, like for example, how many students have qualified from that center actually? What is the strength and what are the number of I would say controllers who are available for the Viva voce actually. Ujjwala, simple means what? Keep it simple in terms of your, I would say, the way you carry in the interview, as well as keep it simple in terms of this is something I have been speaking during the written exam preparation as well. Actually, it's not a rocket science. सारे rule numbers, section numbers याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. Simple conceptual understanding. And let me also, when I analyze the question paper for paper 1 and paper 2, it was more of practitioners paper. जो रट के गया है उसके लिए वो पेपर नहीं था. Conceptually, if you are clear, just revise, keep it simple. No need to mug up the section numbers, rule numbers, and everything for that sake, right? Those significant ones we have already spoken at the right point of time, actually, during the class as well, right? Rachna, how much time is spent on one candidate? I think I have already covered this, Rachna. Vignesh, good to see you, Vignesh. Will they ask questions based on our profession or only related to patent act and rules? Vignesh, I would say it would be more related to act and rules rather than your profession. I would say there may be just 1 or 2 questions related to that. Those questions would be generally just to understand your background and nothing more than that. Okay, no one would be interested, and you shouldn't also say if you have come from this location or if you have come in Mercedes or local may I and all, that doesn't matter there. So Vignesh, I believe profession आपके background के लिए there may be just one एक दूसरा question होगा and not more than that, I would say. So it would be more of a technical interview for sure, Vignesh. Okay. Now, Praveen, as per my counting, my paper mark is 52. I hope I am for sure minimum 16 paper to a little concerned about this. Give me some ideas to clear Viva with high marks, so I pass. I think Praveen, as I discussed, I think we have already discussed this part. If you are in that zone, you should prepare really well. Praveen, I'm sharing my phone number at the end. Get connected over a call and we can definitely take this ahead. Take this as an opportunity, Praveen. It's yet not over. You still have. देखिए, I still remember, I'm a Mahi or Dhoni fan. 2 balls, 2 sixes, and Dhoni had done it. You can also do that, okay, for sure. Mohini Kushwaha, please suggest some questions for life science student. Okay, good that you mentioned this, Mohini. When you have a question, or when you have a background, question, what's your background and all, many a times it may happen that if you are from a specific domain, let's say, it's not about your background, I would say, if you are from life sciences, but I would say it would be more about the background from which the controller is, okay, rather than what's your background. And wahan pe I think that it's very important key. Accordingly, you will have to actually answer. So you should be prepared for, don't restrict Mohini for yourself for the life sciences domain. क्योंकि हो सकता है कि the one sitting next to you who is taking your Viva is actually not from life sciences. He is from engineering background actually. And what would you do if you restrict? So this would be, I think, my advice. Don't restrict to your domain. Okay, I'm going to take the important questions as well. Okay, I have got this question from Anjali. Please give some idea about the questions to be asked in Viva, like questions related to patent law or subject domain from other subject. So Anjali, I think the concept of patent agent is pretty simple. Everything would be with respect to the Patent Act, rule, the manual, nothing beyond this. Technical domains say questions I don't foresee actually. Like, agar aaye to bhi ekada, like, randomly one question maybe, like, okay. Now I have got this suggestion from Apurva. Affiliation should not be disclosed. Again, you have to take a call, Apurva. Actually, like I would say, there are no set rules. Depends on you. How do you actually want? Or if you don't want to disclose, I would say you can also just simply mention I'm working in this industry. See, if the person is interested, and if you say I'm working with one of the premier most institutes in India, actually in the chemical industry, still the samne wala banda pooch sakta, which institute, right? So you take a call, I think, Apurva, like, whether to disclose the affiliation or what, or not. I don't think it should matter that much actually, like, but honestly, like, if there is any conflict, that may be one scenario I can foresee, Apurva ki, like, jahan pe you shouldn't disclose. But otherwise, as a student, I don't think there should be any much issue, as when this should not make a huge difference in terms of your performance in the interview. I've got Priyanka here. If we are not in patent field as of now, what should be the best answer? Why do you want to become a patent agent? I think if you are not in patent field, you are in a technical field, the best answer, of course, is looking forward to career in patent, as or else this is going to help me in terms of my research related activities tomorrow. Like, remember that one I would say risk herein is that the intent of the patent agent exam, or those who are qualifying the patent agent exam, for them it is expected that like, they are practicing in patent office, good quality patents are being drafted and prosecuted at the Indian Patent Office, right? So this may also, like, if you say that, like, it would be helpful in my domain, at times it may work, but the ideal answer, Priyanka, should be, I would say, I'm looking forward to a career which is techno legal. I'm more of a technical, but I'm pretty interested in the legal kind of career, right? I've got Rashmita here. Whether the average mark varies from center to sentence, what about Mumbai Center? Rashmita, I don't think this happens. Like, I don't think this happens. Rather, this doesn't happen even in your paper 1, paper 2, actually. This is not something I would say. All average marks at all the 5 centers would be, like, there is nothing like ki Mumbai mein zyada denge, Chennai mein kam denge, and Kolkata mein, like, it's not like that. It's an all India level exam actually. Only thing is you have got 5 centers, and you are in a position to be at any. Rather, if you have given your exam at one center, and if you have some emergency, you can go to the other center as well. I believe you can check it with the patent office. Okay. Like, Kashmira, what questions can the panelist ask to a patent analyst? Kashmira, will discuss this. Priyanka, do they ask about other forms of IP like copyright, design? Okay, I think let me go ahead now, because most of the questions are coming from what kind of questions are asked, what are the I would say, like, I would say the topics, important topics that would give you more clarity, and that would answer many of your questions as well. What should be the focus in terms of studies, or what kind of questions are asked? 2 questions. What's your background? Why do you want to be a patent agent? Right now, beyond that, remember that recent changes post 2018 are the most important thing to understand, because like, this is something which was not covered in the previous, I would say, the patent agent exam. This time it is very essential, I would say, to understand, because these are the focus, the latest happenings basically. Like, so it would be a general discussion, like, wherein, and some of the pointers I have mentioned here: IPAB dissolution, important. The draft patent rules 2019-2020, wherein Form 27 format was changed. The draft patent rules 2020 differencing fees, actually. Patent amendment rule 2021 for the educational institutions, September 21. Delhi High Court IPD. all those students who are in class, I think we have focused this again and again, actually, right? Also, if you are, when you're going through the videos at specific pointers, I have mentioned ये question पूछा जा सकता है in the Viva. Now, how to decide that actually? Also, I'll tell you one important, I would say, or a clue to, like, focus on the exceptions part that may be asked. Okay, the same thing happens in paper one as well, right? Focus on the exceptions part rather than the generalizations. So for example, one of those exceptions about section 21, which everyone is aware of actually, now. Also, I think there is a question from Simi. Do they ask questions from case study? Yes, absolutely, they do ask questions from case study. Few of the latest case studies rather refer to spicy IP. I would say Bible for the Indian IP industry, actually, it's there since long. When I entered this domain, patent domain, in 2005, 17 years back, that point of time as well. Since then, spicy IP is there. It has evolved really well. You would have all the case laws, old, new, and it's just not about the case laws, the discussion about those case laws as well. And for those students who have the access to videos, many case laws we have discussed in classes as well, and if you guys also remember in Delhi, physical class that we conducted in Delhi, therein also one interesting infringement case law we had discussed actually, right? This reminds me of one very interesting case law that has happened recently. And this is with respect to patent agent practice. Just go through this. A very interesting case law. ये ना आपको बहुत interesting लगेगा. It would help you in terms of practice. Those of you who are with the law firms and practicing, they already know this. There was this one case जहाँ पे the patent agent, the FER reply was not submitted within 6 months, and there was no extension 9 months. But then it was the mistake of a patent agent and not the applicant. Applicant never had that intent, basically. Applicant never had that intent to, I would say, abandon that application. But due to the negligence of the patent agent, this happened actually. This is very interesting. Read it, go through it. I just shared it, the live law link here, actually, but the spicy app in this may be something which would be sufficient for you, I would say. Beyond that, topics, if you look at the topics, I would say the preference for the topics would be with respect to prosecution. And I would say some logical reasoning for that, because controllers, whoever is taking your Viva actually from patent office, they are more into patentability, the prosecution part. Litigation के related questions बहुत कम होंगे probably, and so the probability is less for that. And litigation से related questions है तो भी very fundamental basic questions होंगे, right? So some of the topics that I have identified which are important: types of patents, the provisional, complete, petitive edition, divisional, so all these PCT, the PCT national phase, the convention application, all these important. Section 3, section 4, important. The entire prosecution, the journey of application from filing to grant, anything with respect to that. Minor details like hearing can be attended by the applicants. Hearing can also be attended by a lawyer, advocate as such. This is the only one ye jahan pe advocate can pitch in and attend the hearing actually. Otherwise it's the patent agent. Patent agent ke roles kya hai, rights kya hai, what is the, I would say, how do they work actually, and so anything related to patent agent is important here. The forms and fees, how to remember the forms and fees. I think we have got that trick now, and most of you know it, so you can very easily do that actually, so you have to remember that as well. What is planned now for those students who joined in, for how are we going to prepare? 27, we have 8 days every week, weekdays pay, late in the evening actually, we would be actually having live interviews in the Zoom call. 6 slots every day. Okay, all those students who are already there in the WhatsApp group for the training, actually, those who are who were part of the training class physically, or I would say virtually, actually, those who had access to videos, and basically those who are already there in the Patlex WhatsApp group. You have got opportunities to choose any of these 48 slots. I've got 53 students who have qualified. That's what I'm presuming, actually. The number may be more. Many of you may not be willing to do this, but those who are really interested, but it would be live in front of all students. Oh, one thing is it won't be recorded for sure, but with video on, and so that's how we would be doing. So eventually we would have 48 interviews from the panelists. Actually, panel of 3 people would take your interview right there. Okay, so we'll be starting tomorrow, 27 June, say like 8 days, 648, and it would, how is it going to help you? Actually, I'll tell you. Class, remember how we prepared for paper 2, right? With every one putting the draft, the claim, the title, the abstract, same thing we are going to repeat here for Viva voce as well. Okay, we would give you during that time practically tips for interview. And see, don't worry, if you are not in a position to answer in here, and or you make some blunders here, absolutely fine. वहां जाके ये चीजें नहीं करना है. Exactly same thing हमने paper 2 patent drafting के लिए किया था. The case slots we'll discuss during these slots. The latest events we'll discuss. There will be cross questioning by the entire group of people, 30-40 जो भी रहेंगे, whatever number is willing to participate in the Viva voce preparation. As I said, panel of 3 would be there, and finally we would also cover here in what things need to be avoided actually. What things need to be avoided actually in the Viva voce physical presence may actually, So that is something we are going to do in next, I would say 15 days. As I mentioned again, go through the charts and videos again and again. These are my contact details for those who are new to this, and I'll take those remaining questions now one by one. Simi, I have already answered your question. Do they ask questions from case studies? Yes, do they? Dhananjay, is there any strict evaluation? No, Dhananjay. It's not necessary, Dhananjay. Evaluation strict hoga if you are from industry or a law firm, basically. No, nothing like that. Everyone is treated equally there. Okay, there is fair. There would be a fair exam. Gargi, yes. So Gargi, in syllabus they have also mentioned about science. So what exactly the questions about science will they cover? So science, I couldn't understand, Gargi, this question. Maybe you can just put it in the WhatsApp. Actually, if I get your comments or elaborate the question, I'll take that question accordingly. Okay. Now, another question we have is eligibility for patent agent exam. Sham, you are very late, I would say. Because we are discussing about the those who have qualified for the VAM. Okay, JB Chotala, can possible 40 marks? Absolutely, 46 marks bhi mile hai bachchon ko. I'll just take you again through that. Look at this, 46 marks mile. 40 marks is possible. Okay, Chakravarti Naik, what would be the probable question for the pharma or the chemical background? I can tell you about compulsory licensing 3D, which is very common, I would say. Recent, there was a judgment about in Kerala actually about a breast cancer drug, about the compulsory license. That may be also something I would say specifically from the life sciences or pharma domain. Of course, the Novartis case is there, about section 3D as such, or there may be something life sciences. If I see something about the National Biodiversity Authority, something about the depository bodies, that may also be asked actually. Okay, Piyush, can we get access to part 1 videos? Piyush, I have shared my number. Just message me or call me. Like, you know, it may be we can take it ahead independently. Yes, yeah. Yes, Vinuta, revising famous case laws would be definitely useful. Okay, if you revise those, and of course we'll be trying to revise those in the next 8 days that we are planning. Case laws will be trying to cover during that, actually, like, you know. Now, Piyush, a law graduate with science experience with no prior industry experience, how should we approach for the Viva? Was Piyush, as I said, keep it simple. जैसे आपने अभी तक किया है वैसे ही कीजिएगा. Nothing specific, I would say, like, you know, per se, because I have few students who are lawyers and from the science background, I would say, and like, so there is no specific, I would say, answer to. So it's not individualized, basically, Piyush. It's generalized, actually. So your background, technical background, or I would say age, these, or where are you getting interviewed, like Delhi में कम marks मिलेंगे, कोलकाता ऐसे नहीं होगा. It's generalized. It's, I would say, for like, you know, everyone it would be the same, actually. Sucharita, are the case studies important? If yes, then please suggest some landmark cases. Sucharita, I think I have already given that, like, you know, though you can couple of case studies. The one that recent Kerala High Court decision about a compulsory licensing ka ek case. Sucharita, you can also go through my this Pharma Literati YouTube channel. A lot of videos are there about the case studies and important questions as well. वहाँ पे भी आपको मिल जाएंगे. You can think of this Novartis case. There was one case about Section 21 as well. It was a wonderfully like, you know, so that was also a wonderful case. Also go through some of these videos जहाँ पे like, you know, we have discussed about hypothetical questions. Many of these hypothetical questions are based on the real life cases. Or real life cases you can evaluate it. And Sucharita, I would also recommend go through Spicy IP. That's a Bible for the Indian case laws, I would say, right? Apurva, will there be multiple panels or only one panel at a given center? Apurva, I think it shouldn't matter to you because आपको एक panel को ही face करना है, ideally, right? But then yes, there would be multiple panels there. Rashmita, is it possible to change the center for Viva? I think, Rashmita, under like, you know, honestly, I am not the right person to answer this. Get in touch with the Indian Patent Office, because I can't answer this clearly, but I believe under extreme emergencies or under certain circumstances, but get in touch with them upfront, like, you know, so that like, you know, just don't on a very last moment, don't do this. Agar aapko change karna hai, get it confirmed from the Patent Office itself, right? What questions will be asked for any important patent studies on pharma? I think I have already covered that. European Union versus controller buyer case, Rohit, I just discussed that. Then I have Sai Kiran, thank you. Sandhya, I just joined, I didn't know about this. Is there a recording of this session? Sandhya, this session is live via YouTube, would be available on YouTube forever. Don't worry about that, okay? Anshu, computer related invention cases, okay. So Anshu, honestly, I'm not the expert to comment on that, but just check for some case studies, actually, like, you know, onto the computer related inventions, and like, you know, anything which is 3K related, get in touch with some. And again, as I said, the best part of Spicy IP blog is there is a tagging there. So tag karo computer related invention. CRI guidelines, thank you, Sai Kiran, for mentioning it, actually. That is also important to understand. What all we need to carry with us? What all we need to carry with us? I don't get this question. Is it with respect to like, you know, when you're going there physically? Then I think Patent Office would be giving you the guidelines accordingly. Rakshit, how to answer if we are not aware about? Okay, I think that's an interesting question. This I would for sure answer, Rakshit. अगर आपको नहीं पता है ना, just say that like, you know, instead of giving random answers. Or if you don't know, and like, you know, instead of giving wrong answers or random answers, just say you are not aware or you have not heard of this case, actually. Like, you know, see, I'll tell you, in paper 1, paper 2, you didn't have negative marking, but ये जो चीज है ना, जो रक्षित ने पूछी, this is important. रक्षित, or not officially, but आप अगर गलत जवाब देते हो ना, then your marks would be lesser, रक्षित. Okay, so it is very essential that agar aapko nahi pata, not only for case study, any other thing for that sake, agar nahi pata hai to just say no sir, I'm not aware actually. ठीक है. Is it necessary to revise related IPR laws like copyright? Sandhya, I don't foresee this. I don't think this is required. Sucharita, since I am from electronics, may I need to cover Sucharita, I think I have given you my this phone number. Maybe you can just call to discuss this. I'm not aware of much, but then we can discuss it one by one. Rakshit, would it suffice by answering by quoting relevant sections and rules? Dekho, Rakshit, like as I said, there are no standard rules. What is important? आपको जितना पता है, like don't give any wrong answer. Don't give any wrong answer. Give the answers जो आप confident उतना ही आंसर अच्छे से. ठीक है, that makes sense. Then we have Cycle Monsanto versus Novizedu. Thank you, Anshu. Any study material on CRI? Sandhya, we would, the CRI guidelines are already there at the Indian Patent Office website, I believe. You can go through that. Richa, how to access upcoming videos and live interview lectures. As I already mentioned, Richa, we are not going to record these sessions. It will be only exclusively accessible to the students who are part of the classes and those who will be actually joining us. We would have some, I would say, few slots for students who are not part of our class. But then depending on the conflict of interest, for sure, we may have some slots for them. You can join it live, but we won't be recording of course, for the purpose of benefit of the students, as well as I would say for the purpose of, I would say, because everyone may not be willing to get recorded, and that's the reason we won't be recording these sessions. Only thing is, you can, so get in touch with me if you have any specific queries. So thank you so much. Firstly, for joining in on this Sunday morning. Almost 120 students joining in on Sunday morning is, I would say, an achievement. Once again, congratulations to all of you for getting qualified for the Viva voce actually, and all the best. Just stick to the basics, to the rules, and also I would say Sandhya, this is my last live session, I would say, and I'm not sure, but hopefully this is the last time I'm conducting the patent agent exam training as well. All the best, everyone. Actually, I'm really happy. It was quite, I would say, interactive session, a lot of questions as such, and I'm happy actually, all of you joined in. So do join in, tune in, and all the best for your exam. Thank you, everyone.